Good morning. I'm Malcolm Nance. And if you're seeing us three schmoes in front of you, then you are watching the Black Man Spy podcast for the U.S. Who knows if we're going to have another war cast? Day number 132 since the start of the war in the Persian Gulf and the crisis that has since followed it, and the economic crisis that appears to be coming no matter what we do. We're going to talk more about that. I've been watching experts these last few days. We started a minute late because we wanted to make sure the audio really worked. So we're working on that. Let me introduce you to my co-host, Jacob Carsbo, coming to us. Are you in Jutland or are you at home? I can't tell.
I'm near the top of Denmark, yeah.
Yeah, up there in the woods.
Near the top.
In your IKEA-filled home. This is Jacob Carsbo, Danish intelligence
The
officer
beach is just down there. The beach is just down there.
Yeah, but that's also known as the North Sea. Who the hell wants to swim in that place?
No.
Are you in the Baltic?
No. The North. Yeah, it's inside on the East Coast. So the top is 20 kilometers right in that direction, facing north. And then my beach is on the East Coast. And then it's about 15 kilometers to the West Coast.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that water's cold, is what you're trying to tell us.
It's fresh. Come on.
That's a good way of describing it. It's fresh.
It's nice and fresh.
Okay, well, good morning or good afternoon to you. Pristine fresh waters full of freaking sharks. All right, it is half Baltics, half North Sea, right? And Wajeeh, the gay lion, not wearing his signature cool guy shirt with lions surrounding him, hailing to us from Minneapolis, Minnesota, using his traditional handcrafted country bumpkin coffee mug. I like that. And Jacob is sporting his traditional IKEA vacation home mug. And I am extremely lazy. Yeah. I am just recycling. Yes? What's that? It's very cute. It's something you would find at Airbnb.
Exactly.
All right. Exactly. I'm going to slow down. We have a slight delay because we are coming across 8 different time zones from Central European time to American Midwest time. I'm on the East Coast in New York State, and I am still sporting my official U.S. Navy World War II. I think this one might be World War I era coffee mug, and because I need it. Like I said, I get up very early, but believe it or not, it has been the temperatures have been very good here. We have been getting rain for the last 24 hours. We'll have rain for another 12 hours. And I'm happy about that because that means I don't have to go out and cut the grass for a couple of days. So that being said, welcome to the cast. First thing that we're going to do now that we have checked into everybody. Well, we actually have got a very slow start today. We've only got about 700 followers thus far, but that's interesting. We're getting some of the comments off to the side, and they're hilarious and distracting. I have not set up the chat yet. I will be setting that up in a few minutes when we start talking. And if you can't see my T-shirt, somebody said my T-shirt is superb. I can't see it in there. My Fight Like a Ukrainian shirt, the funny thing is I have shirts that are like 4 years old. And I was like, I'm putting these away for history. This war will be over in a couple of years. I'm starting to wear those shirts now. Nope. So I can say that now. I personally think the Ukrainian war will be over in a couple of years.
But I tell you why are we finally seeing some progress? It's because the Ukrainians are doing what successive U.S. administrations and the Europeans have told them not to do.
Right. That's right.
Attack.
To fight like Ukrainians.
To do so. Exactly.
They're fighting like Ukrainians, and so fighting like Ukrainians, they don't have to deal with any of this, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And on that note, also for our viewers, important, we have the NATO summit taking place now in Ankara.
Mhm.
And
Right.
obviously, Ukraine is at the forefront of discussions there. The big thing for me really is that how important Ukraine is for European security, and this whole fact that Ukraine
Yeah.
cannot become part of that club, that all of a sudden doesn't seem so exclusive anymore, because
Hmm.
Ukraine have shown us what to do and how to defend itself, and we should probably learn more from Ukraine than from anyone else.
I've been saying this since the first day I joined the Ukrainian army. I saw that they were very adaptive. Very adaptive. When they didn't have something, they could do a workaround quickly. They didn't ask for permission, even though some of the officers kept that strict Soviet style regimentation early in the war. We would just walk around them. They are motivated by success, and they are motivated by people coming up with clever solutions. And when Donald Trump was going to become president, the Ukrainians are like, we need to start fighting on our own. We need to fight with Europe. Europe started recognizing that also. And we need to, as I like the word I like to use, decouple from the United States. And, the first sign that that was happening was Pete Hegseth in the first 2 weeks of the administration, just without any orders, cut off all aid, all intelligence, everything to Ukraine, because that's what he was getting out of the Oval Office. He was getting it from Donald Trump, and he was getting it from JD Vance, that they all fucking hate Ukraine and that they love Russia and the potential money that could come out of lifting sanctions from Russia. And that's the only reason that they were screwing these people over. They don't believe in democracy. They don't believe in anything other than money. And now, I mean, for those of you who think that this is an ideological battle with Donald Trump on the right and everybody else on the left, it is not ideological for him. It is financial only. He will deal with any person in this world at any time on any subject. He will let you go. He will pardon you from crimes if you can bring him and his friend, by extension, his friends, money. And Ukraine doesn't do that. Ukraine is a country that extends money, that required the United States to give it assistance. And he doesn't believe in assistance. He believes in bribery. He believes in purchases. And the Ukrainians got hit with those Iskander ballistic missiles yesterday that has now killed, I think the number's up to 41 people. It's the first time there were no Patriot missiles to intercept these incoming ballistic missiles, which they had been shooting down every night for 4 years. Every night, hundreds and hundreds of them. And they are at Winchester, is the word that we use. Zero ammunition in the system. And the Europeans are trying to, move missiles over to them. They're trying to jury-rig anti-ballistic missile systems. And I know Macron and now the new German minister, Merz, they are all about getting a European solution in there, because what is happening to Ukraine yesterday could be happening to Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, to where these attacks, by the way, have no military value.
Copenhagen.
Denmark. Yeah. These are punishment attacks in order to break your will. But Putin should know the Ukrainians are the last people. They will beat you with rocks. When the war started, I literally saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, I should say thousands, of bottles of Molotov cocktails positioned all around the city at every checkpoint, because these guys were ready to fight with an AK-47, 3 magazines of ammunition, that's 90 rounds, right? And a case of Molotov cocktails. So, fortunately, they turned out to be more resilient.
Yeah. And the really bad thing now is obviously the Russians are trying to get that sentiment out to Europeans and I guess also
Right.
Americans that this is retaliation for the Ukrainians striking their energy infrastructure, the oil refineries, etc. But that's
Yep.
bullshit because the Russians have been doing this since the get-go, and they
4
do it
years,
as
5
much
years.
as they can all the time. And a lot of the media, at least in Denmark, and I believe in all of Europe, and I would also bet in America, they just peddle this Russian talking point that it's retaliation, but it's bullshit.
Wajeeh?
Listen, Zelensky in the Middle East is almost like a legendary figure.
Not
From
legendary. Not almost. That motherfucker's legendary.
well, here's the thing. I say legendary because who would have thought Saudi Arabia would trust Zelensky more than the United States? Who would have thought that Qatar would trust Zelensky more than the United States? Who would have thought
Mhm.
that Kuwait would trust Zelensky more than the United States? Who would have thought that the United States would be leaving the Gulf states and going to Israel and someone else will be filling these shoes?
Mhm.
You know, I was trying to think if it was not the Turks that would come into these Gulf states, who would come in? And I was coming
Mhm.
up with 3 or 4 states: the UK, France, Germany, or Ukraine. And Ukraine would be on a small number just to help with the drones during
Right.
this war. But the reality is that the security apparatus in the Middle East has permanently changed.
Mhm.
The the war in Ukraine with Russia is connected to the Middle East one way or another. Russia has been involved in Syria. Russia has been involved in some of the other countries in the region, and yet Ukraine, with how smart they are, they still found a way to outwin the Russians by being the good guys.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is very true. All
me,
right. Well, listen,
exactly.
that's our light banter. We've, nothing's more fun than seeing President Zelensky. I have my medals that I earned when I was in Ukraine, and the only honor that I lacked was that President Zelensky didn't give me one. But don't worry. I did you guys know I have a postage stamp in Ukraine for the International Legion? There's
Really?
there are only 10 sets of it. The Postmaster General of Ukraine made them up after the Kharkiv counteroffensive, and I have 10 sets of it. I still have not picked them up. So, Jacob, when I go to Kiev right next, you come with me. We will get the official International Legion What Now Bitches poster stamp,
Yeah,
postage stamp that was issued. And he keeps writing, he was like, "Are you coming to get these stamps?" 10 sets. And we were going to
exactly.
auction one off, one for President Zelensky, one for General Zalushny, one for General Budanov, one for General Sirsky, and the other 6 sets we will auction off. And
Yeah,
it's hilarious because it says, Ukrposhta, for Ukraine. That's the Ukrainian National Post Office. What now, bitches?
yeah.
With my picture. It's hilarious. But I was just hoping that's my way into Zelensky's office, baby. I'm going to give him a set
Eh,
of the International Legion What Now Bitches stamps. So you come with me next time and we'll do that. All right. So
yeah.
let's check the price
Let's
of
go.
oil real quick because there is a weird dynamic happening out there in the world of what's happening in the world in terms of oil. Waja, what's the oil looking like at oilprice.com?
You got it.
Mm. Well, it's going up just a bit, a tick, a tick.
Just a
It's
tick.
going up,
You just-
a smidgen, a
A
schmooze,
slight tick.
a slight tick,
you can-
79 cents. What is that? $69.32 on WTI crude, up 77 cents. $72.79, that's up 80 cents on Brent North Sea crude. Merbon is up, it looks like 93 cents to 67.61. These numbers, I have been watching every analyst in the world. This is my new hobby now. I know everything that's happening in the Middle East where it comes down to land warfare, sea combat, all of that stuff. Yes, you don't have to ask me if I know which ship was attacked or what missile was launched. I know all those easy. I can boop, 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 get those in 5 minutes. Watching the geopolitical versus economic discombobulations, dissimilarity is turning into a very macabre, almost black humor game for me now, because gas prices are not the price of oil. Gas prices and oil are two different sectors of energy, because that oil has to go through refineries. Refineries have to break them down. They have to break them down into composite pieces, diesel, kerosene, whatever, and then distribute them. That is where the gas price is. And Trump going to the oil, these oil companies, these companies with refineries, and saying, lower the price of gas. They can't. Yeah, they're profit taking, but that's how you get your shareholders keep giving you money to keep doing this. The price of oil is a different world. It's got to be first discovery, then extraction, then storage, then processing, then storage again, then transport. No, let me rephrase that. There's something missing right there. Pre-sale, then transport, then successful delivery. That is the cycle of oil versus the cycle of anything else, because that oil may not be destined for gas stations. It may be destined for plastics. It may be destined for fertilizer processing or natural or other components of that. So my problem that I'm seeing in the world is apparently that some people don't seem to understand that. I actually have people going, why you talk so much about oil? A trade economy and the politics of it is what leads to war. Everything we have been doing is why we are at war. Donald Trump does not believe in those processes. He believes in, hey, you're making money over there. I want some of that, right? And only, we said, June 17th appeared to be his epiphany day, but it apparently has gone out the window, because I think he enjoys the thought that his mouth affects changes, kills, and enriches people. I think that's where he is now. I think that if there was a massive economic meltdown, that he would look forward to saying, well, I can fix that in one day. What do you guys think? Waj, we're good with the thon. You can take that off.
You got it.
I need another goddamn coffee. Hold on. I got my fully automatic espresso maker right next to me now, man. I don't play games with this. You can hear
what brand are you using?
The one I have, the one that's in my office is a cheap one. It's a Shiba, German. But don't worry, there will be like an Illy $3,000 super expensive one someday in my house. I drink more coffee. They should give it to me as a sponsor. Jacob, what were you saying?
You have enough followers that they would sponsor you.
No. Let's talk.
No, I think you're right. Trump will, just pretend whatever and try to throw sand into the eyes of people and say, well, I've fixed it, I'm the greatest, blah, blah, blah. Regardless that he created the original problems. But there's one thing with regard to the oil prices that we should talk about, and that is the Saudi decision to lower the prices.
They're cutting. They've just announced they're cutting it, right? $1.50 a barrel.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
That's just profit taking.
And you have Yeah, exactly. And you have the whole
Oh,
issue with
perfect.
the UAE leaving OPEC that we've discussed. So I think it's really difficult to see what will happen. Except we're still missing oil, and we still have the Chinese issue to look into. So it could go, in lots of different ways.
I told you guys. I told you guys. This is not something I'm surprised about. The Saudis are going to keep pushing the price down until all of other companies go, okay, we're going to start raising the price. First of all, there's few reasons that they are dropping the prices. First,
Mhm,
they know that they're competing against the UAE and other countries that have already been selling.
mhm,
They need to undercut the market. They need to compete with the current prices of the market. OPEC is not currently controlling it. And the world is in an emergency situation where Saudi Arabia, if they lower the prices, they only improve the relations with their diplomatic partners, where it's a win-win for them. And they're going to achieve their price goal of undercutting everyone in the long run. And then they're also going to be like winning everyone's favors, like, oh, okay, the Saudis got us, so thank you so much for dropping the prices. So like they're achieving both goals at the same time.
mhm. You know,
Yeah.
we heard that report, and I was going to discuss it today. I'm glad you brought it up. The Saudis have decided that they're going to undercut every barrel of oil by $1.50. Um, it's not a rumor, there's an assessment out there that oil is now getting to the point where it's too cheap to pump. It's too cheap to bring out of the ground. And that the Saudis may be doing this to, one, sweeten the deal with consumers out there who really, really, really desperately need oil. Philippines, Pakistan, all these other countries in South Asia who go, yeah,
Yeah.
we want that oil. We want that oil right now. We'll take it $1.50 less than everybody else. But also, Western companies are going to start shutting down pumps and drills because they were making money at $87 a gallon, a barrel. They're not making money if this goes back to like where Russia was, $45 a barrel or $69 a barrel. But the entire discussion that is happening amongst the energy industry, and I point you to my friend, Mr. Global, who I would like to have on the show at one
Yes,
point
we
to have a discussion of, because this is the spice, right? That they talk about in the movie Dune. In what was it? Spice was kept the universe running because it could make you go to sleep for hypersleep, right? This is Dune, by the way, is just about Saudi Arabia and oil and a job. It's just amazing. They didn't even change the
Yeah.
names. That's what's so amazing about that book, you know? And so this commodity that is making the Western world run, that is now creating productivity, that is still critical for the world of AI, because these data centers are ginormous energy monsters. And nuclear power plants take 5 to 10, even a modular nuclear power plant takes 5 years to make, 5 years to bring online, right? And that's what they're looking at doing in Utah, where they're going to build data centers that are the size, I'm not joking, of 150 Walmart super centers connected. And they're going to try to get a nuclear power plant to run that, because we have nuke plants that run off of ships. And, they actually make these things, they pre-make these. And Trump is trying to get that company that is making nuclear power plants for submarines to start doubling up, which of course it will take decades. It's fucking mental illness. The same time that he has decided the United States government is going to withdraw all funding and order the Department of Energy and Justice to shut down every solar and wind plant in America, which is it's sabotage. But it means that did Mohammed bin Zayed come in there, or not Mohammed bin Zayed, Mohammed bin Salman come in and say, "Hey, listen, you got to get rid of power. You need to be more dependent on us for oil." as well as your own oil. Otherwise, we're not going to be hooking you up with that Trump Tower in Riyadh. That is literally the kind of deal that he makes. And we as intelligence professionals, a thought that I had one mission that I was on that I felt was very, how can I put it, distasteful. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to use the French word, dégueulasse. Right? I did not like this mission, and I did not like the president that was ordering it at the time. Right? And in our community, we justify our continuing to do the job, even if I see this pattern of theft bullshit, because there are a lot of innocent people in between A and B, and we don't want to see them hurt, right? As far as I'm concerned, fucking refineries should blow up, right? We don't go cheering for ISIS. Okay, we don't go cheering for ISIS. We track them down, right? Find them, fix them, fuck them. But we are definitely not going to go, oh, your yacht sank off of Monte Carlo. That's terrible. So this is the difference between intelligence professionals and economic intelligence guys. Their job, these civilian groups, is to make them more money by finding places to exploit and people to take over and have killed. And I know we're getting a little off topic here, but we're having this fight that's going on in Mali, and the Russians destabilizing North Africa to put in Russian mercenaries. That I wonder if there was a deal cut for that. Right? I mean, because it's the only reason that we're not stepping in is because they haven't mass murdered a bunch of white people like they did in, Brazzaville in 1960. Once they start killing white contractors, that's when you see the U.S. Marines land. And I'm wondering if the Russians were like, hey, to destabilize the Chinese, we're going to be bringing people into North Africa. What do? We close our drone base in Mali and withdraw it without any fucking explanation. This thing was hunting and killing ISIS. The same people that have taken over Mali this week. So I don't get it.
Yep.
Let's move. So that's the discussion of oil. I want to talk about, last night. Let's talk about the ship attacks in the Strait of Hormuz.
One good thing about the oil price is that the price of Russian Urals oil is all the way down to $42 a barrel. And the Russian budget is based on $59 a barrel. So that is good news.
Hey, listen, real quick aside. Michael Madsen had the temerity to come up and say that my coffee looks weak. My brother in Christ. Let me educate you.
My brother in Christ.
What you are looking at is the crema on top of a Lavazza.
The crema.
Lavazza Molto Crema espresso, super black roasted. But you're looking at the cream that is made. That is the sign of a perfect double espresso. In Italy, if they don't have that crema, they just flip the cup over and throw it out. All right. There are people that live for that. By the way, most expensive single espresso I've ever paid for. Did I mention this before? Jacob, where's the most expensive single coffee you've ever paid for?
Downtown Copenhagen.
No, come on. How much did it cost you? Where did you go?
No, but it is expensive. It is
I go there,
really expensive in Denmark. It's easily $8.
Oh, is that what I was paying? But it's good though.
That's how crazy it is.
Regular coffee. I have to tell you guys this, so long as we're having this little break. Well, first off, the most expensive espresso I've had on this planet is tied for two places. One, I had a single espresso for €10 at a small, I can't even remember its name now, Romano or something like that, in Piazza San Marco in Venice. And this was so far back. The euro was brand new. and they were like charging like people didn't have it. 10 euros the week the euros started, which would be probably like 20 euros now. They were just screwing everybody. And the next one was at Café de la Paix next to the Opera Garnier. And I paid for a double espresso, 13 euros. And they don't cut that price at all. It's still 13 euros. So that's why coffee is so expensive, because the merchantmen that have to bring that coffee are dying with the oil prices that are being paid today. And that leads us to from coffee, from double espressos in Venice to ship attacks in the Strait of Hormuz. All of this is connected, people. So Iran, in order to make it clear to everybody that they are in command of the Strait of Hormuz, not Pete Hegseth and his intense air power that was over the Strait of Hormuz. Two major events occurred yesterday. One, the IRGC started putting out large squadrons of fast inshore attack craft. We've seen satellite imagery of 20 to 45 ship formations of IRGC small boats operating together in swarms yesterday. They are patrolling the exit route of the Iranian traffic separation scheme, and they're going back and forth between Sirik, Hormuz, and Larak Island. Just to let everybody know, the IRGC small boats, you didn't get them. All right, there's 3,000. There were 3,300 of them before this war started. And just to make things eminently clear, who's the boss? The Iranians fired two cruise missiles, most likely Shahed drones, that struck two merchantmen off of Oman on the eastern side of the Strait of Hormuz, U.S.-backed traffic separation scheme, as they were heading south to Khor towards Fujairah. The first ship that was struck was the most significant ship that was struck was a Qatari liquid natural gas carrier called Al Rakayat. It was on fire. It had a small fire. It belonged to Nakilat, which is the Qatari natural gas transport company. Nakilat means transporting. That's a cool name.
Nakilat.
Yeah, we are the transporting company because we are Nakal al Gas. That is Arabic for the basic trilateral verb nakala, to carry or transport. So Nakilat Gas Company did not lose a ship. The fire appeared to be put out. It is an LNG carrier. It had to have been empty. Otherwise, it would have exploded like an atomic bomb. They did not use a loitering munition to hit the bridge this time, directly amidships, up above at the highest point, which signals a Shahed drone. And there's some good imagery of it on fire. We'll try to find that in a little bit. The other ship, I don't know the identity of it.
They didn't buy the window cleaning. They didn't buy the IRGC window cleaning.
When them small boats came out and said, "Do your windows, $2 million."
They're getting their ship towed.
I shit you not. There is no intelligence briefing I have ever been to that these jokes didn't happen. Just like this. Everybody makes jokes about stupid shit that happens. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, y'all should have. It's just $2 million. I'll take it in quarters. All right. That being said, Saudi Arabia and Qatar have taken moves to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. There is a proposal now that the Saudis are either going to double up or increase the capacity of the Aqaiq Yanbu oil pipeline, which goes from Jubail, Saudi Arabia on the eastern side, all the way across Saudi Arabia, all the way across the desert to the Red Sea, so that they can transship in there and go back through the Suez Canal. It also sort of bypasses the Bab el-Mandab waterway, because they would dedicate those sails to Europe and other points west, whereas now Qatar is now in talks to take the Dolphin gas field, which the entire time I lived in the United Arab Emirates, the Dolphin gas field is this big field to the east and northeast of Qatar. and the Emiratis have a field nearby it at Taweelah. Now they are talking about an underwater pipeline from Qatar to Taweelah, which is Taweelah, I think it's north of Dubai. And then it will connect it to the Taweelah Fujairah system there. These will be all new pipes. Yes, you could hit the pipes, but one thing I've learned when I was over in the Middle East, those pipes are rapidly changeable. They are fixable.
Yeah.
They can actually shut off at two ends, right? And then they come up and a pipe crew, 50,000 Pakistani workers, pipe crew will come up, cut that thing out, put it up, have it back in operation in 24 hours. They're really good at that part of the game. And they are looking at tapping into it to completely bypassing it, which would make investments in Fujairah. And I'm going to go down and start looking for some villas down there, right? Investing in Fujairah will be big ass money. That is a sleepy little village. I mean, it's a town, but it's not a town that you would generally stop in unless you had an oil tanker. Now that place is going to be a boom town. It'll be a mini, Abu Dhabi here soon enough. Because I suspect multiple oil and gas pipelines will be going out to the eastern United Arab Emirates and Oman. I wouldn't be surprised to see one straight from the fields in Habshan all the way down to Salalah, Oman. That's my prediction. If I was ever going to put shit on Polymarket, that in 1 year, the Omanis and the Emiratis would be cutting deals to get those tankers, because it's really far away from Iran. They did throw a drone down there. It's pretty far. And it goes through the Ruba Khali, right? The empty quarter, which I've driven in. And they actually have adventure races that cross that thing. So that would be a big bypass.
Where is the Dolphin gas field?
Just off to the southeast of Doha. Paris is to the north. Dolphin project is to the southeast.
Because I see the Dolphin energy plant, I just didn't see the field.
It's under the ocean, baby.
Makes sense.
It's between Qatar and the United Arab Emirates.
Okay, right? Thank you.
All at big body of water, and you'll see it there. All right. And it wouldn't be another day if Donald Trump didn't threaten to blow up the entire thing, right? Donald Trump has threatened that the Iranians will sign a deal, and he always says these two things in the same breath. They're so desperate to make a deal. They're calling me, they're begging me to make a deal, but then they don't do anything and they don't want a deal. Therefore, I'm going to attack them, and we could do it in a day, like you said yesterday. We could blow up every bridge in Iran in an hour. Well, sort of true-ish, but then again, every oil pipeline in the Middle East would be under attack in 45 minutes after that hour. So, it's just utterly amazing how one man, he is going to go down in history as the single most individually destructive character in history, I think. In terms of impact of people's lives, people losing their lives, and, but he will go down as a moron. No, let me rephrase that. A drunk monkey with an AK-47 dancing to techno. That's what he's going to go down.
And what was the Iranian response? The Iranian response was there's no need for technical talks and for any negotiations. As long as we're being threatened, because that is the word that are used in the MOU that you thought was genius, Donald Trump. So we're not negotiating as long as you are threatening us. It's all in there.
I make this joke that that I keep this game that I've kept for years called Persian Gulf. And there used to be multiple examples of it, like during the oil war in 1975, came out in 1975. It was about the United States invading. It's a paper game that's laid in hexagonal grids. And when I was very early on, before there were computer games, this is the way the military war gamed. But this particular game is an actual invasion of Iran, right? And you can't tell me there aren't guys in the Pentagon right now going, hey, much more of this. If we get a massive oil shock, let's say that we start moving towards September And that oil explosion, which Mr. Global and everybody else keeps talking about, every analyst out there who's credible goes, there's no inventory, oil's not flowing, but the futures is selling like the war, like it's February 27th. And those two things have to meet the reality of the real world. And that gap is called the oil shock. When suddenly tank bottom comes and tankers are filling up only with Iranian oil, and it's trickling mainly to Asia, right? Then the fun and games will truly begin, because then we will go through shortage, and we will be in 1973 that we have done ourselves, because someone's telling Trump, hey, it's going to be great. America's the greatest oil producing company in the world, blah, 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 country in the world. And we can handle anything, and we can even lower prices. Okay, hard reality time. And that's when war will likely start again. And you could get into a scenario where, what happens if the United States has a complete crash, or
Yeah.
or the false hope that is AI, that is over leveraged beyond all belief, trillions of dollars, in the fantasy that it will make everything great and you could fire all your workers and we can have we can move to Mars, right? All this craziness goes on, and then the system breaks and it crashes and there's no oil, and we get an oil shock that brings us to $10 a gallon in the United States, which, by the way, is almost what I paid for in Denmark, $8.75 a gallon. I didn't know it until my credit card. I was like, wait, I got to multiply that number times 4? Holy shit. Thank God it's deductible. But that could crash this company. And then geopolitically, who knows what this crazy guy would do? He'd probably say, we're going to, who knows? But that is it for the big picture. The only other thing is Damascus, Syria. Oh, one sec, real quick. Damascus, Syria. Emmanuel Macron visited al-Jolani, the former terrorist leader, into Syria. And there was a series of terrorist IED bombings this morning to greet him. 4 IEDs at least that were housed in vehicles, not suicide bombings, which tells me a lot. It is not ISIS, it's his buddies, former buddies, and it was designed to greet Macron with burning clouds over the city. Yes, Wajeeh.
First of all, regarding the oil petroleum, the United States has fallen to a historical low of 319 million barrels. That's the lowest it has been since April 1983.
Yep.
Depletion. So the other thing is, even though the United States is planning to purchase 200 million barrels of oil in the next year or so, our emergency stockpile currently sits at less than half of what our capabilities of having. So we're reaching a quarter of we're at last quarter for our stockpile, and that's how dangerously low we are getting to the oil. And then there is also some breaking news as of 10 minutes ago.
Ooh.
Donald Trump came out and said
I knew it.
NATO.
I knew you were going to say Donald Trump said.
Yeah. He said at NATO that Greenland should be controlled by the U.S., not Denmark. The U.S. president also said that the U.S. could move all its soldiers out of Europe when asked about Greenland. What do you have to say for yourself, Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob, what did you do? What did you do? What did you say to Donald?
We supported Belgium beating the United States soccer team last night because Donald Trump was bribing FIFA. So now he got upset and again threatened to take Greenland.
I know what happened. The Danish were providing intelligence to the Belgian national soccer team, and that's how they beat America. right? Because we
Yeah, for
we
what?
shouldn't have been beaten after we cheated and got it a red card player off. We should win. Oh, Jesus H. Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Yeah. But
mashallah.
let's go over the NATO summit
Mhm.
tomorrow when we see more.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on there. One thing I will say just on the issue of Damascus, Malcolm, is the fact that Macron is the first European leader to visit Damascus. It was
Mhm.
very important for the new Syrian government, whatever colors they have had in the past. What they were going to discuss was also uh, investment, French investment, European investments into Syria, and also to create a bypass through Syria so as to lower the dependency on the Strait of Hormuz, because Syria sees possibilities there in providing a gateway. And
Mhm.
again, who would want to put a spanner, throw a spanner in the works there? You can guess for yourselves. Let's see. Let's see what these IEDs were.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
again, they didn't get near Macron's hotel. It was outside of the perimeter.
Right.
But again, it's a clear sign, with his visit being announced in advance, that there have been groups perhaps tied to Iran, and with IRGC help through dubious characters in Iraq, perhaps, to get some IEDs into that country. I could see
Mhm.
that
Well,
being
first
the
off, you don't have to get IEDs into Syria. Syria is awash with
no.
thousands of
Yeah,
tons of explosives, and all you got to do is go out to the battlefield, find some old 122 millimeter
yeah,
shells. Have you ever seen these guys do this? They literally will use hacksaws and saw open shells and take the explosives out. You're like, what the
yeah,
jury rig stuff? That's some ISIS stuff. But the fact that they didn't use suicide bombers or try to get to him personally or attack the security infrastructure leads me to believe that these could be like Alawites or former regime loyalists
yeah,
who just want to
exactly.
destabilize the country. Um,
Yeah,
and tomorrow we will also talk more about the attacks inside of Mali. But now I want to get to questions
yeah,
because some questions that we have are, first, someone made note that the bombing that was carried out in Monaco, have everybody who's been to Monaco raise your hand. Right? uh I actually had to watch down in Port Hercule when I was off a warship, and that was fun. And everybody was buying us drinks because that was the old Navy when we were required to be in uniform the whole time back in the 1980s. Yeah, baby, that worked out very well. Now we have to be in civilian clothes. So anyway, the bombing which occurred in Monaco against a rich Ukrainian oligarch who was a corrupt oligarch, it turns out that the bombing suspect was a woman who was just shot dead in Kyiv, Ukraine yesterday. And they believe now, if the Ukrainian Security Services, the SBU, was tracking this person, it's likely that she belongs either to the Ukrainian mafia or to Russian intelligence and was a Ukrainian asset who had returned back to Ukraine. And let me tell you, SBU loves capturing them some spies. They like to capture them, and they make videos of these like 40-man raids where they come out and they frog march you out of there. They gunned this chick down. Right? They weren't taking any chances, which may have led them to believe that she was part of a GRU operation to tie Ukraine to that bombing and that she was in Ukraine to carry out more bombings. And I found that story just fascinating because more than likely it's going to tie to Moscow and oil and money.
yeah.
So that's all we have for today. Let's go to questions, shall we? Was the Iranian strike, this is from Carl de Marseille, and was the Iranian strike on the Qatari tanker at least in part Iran's nosy way of saying howdy to the NATO heads of state at the summit in Ankara? I don't think so. No, I just think it was the IRGC's way of saying howdy, use the Iranian traffic separation scheme. Buy your multifaces
Exactly.
here.
It would have happened regardless of the NATO summit. It would have happened regardless.
Yeah. Because it's been happening before the NATO summit.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But somebody asked Ali Wench, what does the future of air travel look like later this summer and fall? Planes are going to be grounded due to lack of jet fuel? Thanks, guys. What do you think? Somebody, I know that we're still having extremely high gasoline, aviation fuel, avgas prices are still at like $175 to $200 per barrel. That is processed fuel that is coming from refineries. And so long as those refineries are getting fuel, you can actually reorient your loads, right? To produce more avgas, less, petrochemicals for plastics and gasoline and things like that. I don't know. That's an interesting question. All I know is better not happen next time I want to take a vacation. Because they are charging extortionate prices out there already, upwards to 150% of the actual airline ticket price.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you, we just talked about the data center in Utah. Here's a question for you guys. John D. Curry says, might President Trump welcome an American economic recession as an excuse to declare national emergency and invoke Insurrection Act before the midterms? I think he would, if it will make him money and get him some advantage, yes, he would welcome anything. Because I cannot explain, even the people I know who know Don Trump personally, right? Michael Cohen and Lev Parnas, they cannot explain why he seems to be wanting to push the United States to tank bottom. The only other explanation is he believes everything's awesome and that the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is at the highest it's ever been in American history, and that he lives in an old man's geriatric fantasy. There's no in between there.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He genuinely, he told everyone, because remember, at this point, this gentleman doesn't have any filter. Our supreme leader, His Royal Excellency, when he talks now, he doesn't think about what he talks. He just says what he wants to say because he does not think of any consequences. So when you think about it, this gentleman literally came in front of the television and was asked, what do you think? Are you taking into consideration America's economy or the cost of these inflations on Americans? He said, no, absolutely not. All I care about is Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. He gave his answer clearly. He doesn't care how it ends, other than he wants to end it and start with Cuba. The only reason he wants to end Iran is because he still has, like we say in Arabic, حدود الثقيل. He has a worm in his ass. He can't sit down still. He has to finish from Iran. He needs to go to Cuba. He finished from Cuba. He's gonna go to some Guantanamo. He's gonna go from Guantanamo. So Greenland. Yeah, right.
Speaking of which, there is a question for you, Jacob, from Ryuzaki, one of our most loyal followers. Could it be that Trump confused Belgium with Denmark instead?
No, I think he doesn't confuse Denmark with anyone because he knows full well who we are and he's after us. There was a U.S. Defense Department pre-meeting for the NATO summit where they invited all the Nordic countries, Poland, Germany, and the Dutch, but not Denmark. We were the only country left out. So it's all the old divide and rule shit, and he's trying to use Europeans as pawn on his chessboard. Fortunately, our next door neighbors, the Nordic countries, the Germans, the Poles, the Dutch, they know this game, so it's not going to make the desired impact. But it just tells you who Donald Trump is, and
Don't worry.
yeah.
I actually think somebody referred to the Belgians as West Denmark, and he just lost his mind. Finally, I'll just got one more question. When this is from Cash Flow Collective, when Trump frames Greenland as strategically vital and surrounded by Chinese and Russian ships, of which Jacob and I were briefed by the senior commander of Arctic Command, he goes, "There's no Chinese and Russian ships. They're off Alaska."
Alaska.
He goes,
north of the Bering Strait. That's where they are.
He goes, "They've never come over here. They're off Alaska in the Bering Straits." And we were like, oh my God, they're so stupid. They hear the word Arctic and they think Greenland, but they don't understand that it's actually in the Pacific Ocean, too. Yeah. What a bunch of morons. He says, the question on the table is this real driver about rare earths and energy potential, its value to AI data centers, rather than security rationale, he states? It's about data centers and the praxis cities. If you guys want to read something crazy that's real, go look up the word Praxis, cities, Greenland, and you will read some... Praxis Nation. These tech bros of Silicon Valley, the top four, have got it into their head, Elon Musk and all of them, that Greenland is vital to creating the TechNet, TECNATE, the TechNet of America, and that they will be given Greenland to build on the ice shelf, right? Which is 1 mile deep, 2.2 kilometers deep shelf of ice that is 1,300 miles long, 1 mile deep, 1,300 miles long, that they will get that, and that fresh water and ice will be the place where they will establish their praxis cities for incel, never had sex, never will have sex with a real person, tech bros, and that they will occupy this land in these giant nirvanas of Nerdville. I shit you not. They actually have already had them planned for years. And every time this shit pops up, sure as shit, Trump comes out and says it, which means he just had a talk with the tech nuts about when you get in Greenland for us. All right. I am not shitting you. It's a country of 57,000 people. 35,000 of them have bolt action long rifles designed to kill delicious caribou and muskox.
Yeah.
You saw my rifle, right, Jacob?
And yeah, exactly. And guess who pays Praxis? Guess who are the main sponsors? They're all the tech oligarchs that you have mentioned, Malcolm, including Donald Trump's ambassador in Copenhagen.
He has also, he's a big one.
Yeah, he has also supported Praxis Nation. So it's just insane.
It is literally insane what these people believe. I was going to show you the gun that I bought as a gift for our friend Orla Jolson, who is the largest social media presence in Greenland. But good God, the mind-boggling stupidity of this discussion is beyond all thoughts, right? Yeah. All right. We've gone a whole hour today. We've answered most of the questions. I will be on to answer most of the questions that you guys have put out there that are not related to Ukraine. I go back through these. You guys can look. I answer most questions for the last few days because I like to take my time on some of them, but these are the ones that were most relevant to us. Okay, thank you for coming. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe on YouTube. We have had a big jump in subscribers in YouTube. I appreciate that. I know you like my commentary. I know you love the commentary from these two guys. So subscribe there. Also, subscribe on malcolmnance.substack.com. I know you're already a subscriber because you're here, but subscribe to Jacob, subscribe to Wajeeh. You can press the button at the top if you're on the app, and their little subscribe boxes will come up. Please get to them. And if you want to become a paid subscriber, you can. There are a lot of benefits to becoming a paid subscriber. We have new categories that'll be coming up. My little minions are working this right now, including face-to-face dinners. I'm going to New York City this week, and I travel enormously. So if you want to meet me in London, you want to meet me in Paris, you can, you got to be a part of that paid subscriber group and to see when I put out these notices. And even the green meanies that are paying me to come and insult me have an opportunity to come and pay me a lot of money to have a coffee with me. We have nuts out there, but I love them. Thank you for buying me my coffees. Thank you for coming to Black Man Spy. Guys, I will see you tomorrow because some stupid shit's going to happen at the NATO summit today. The United States may pull out, and Turkey may not get F-35 jets. Israel definitely doesn't want that to happen. And if it does, we will talk about it tomorrow. So see you all tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
My windows don't shut.